which I think was on everyone's must-watch list this weekend. Detroit, man, I mean, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm flat out a bandwagon fan. I want them to take the whole thing. Uh, I've seen a bunch of videos and clips. They're celebrating like they won the Super Bowl from a fan perspective, but inside the locker room, they are very determined and focused on 2 more wins. So I love it for the city. I'm glad that the players are soaking it in, but keeping focused on the next step, right? Knowing that there's still more to do. And man, what a game. It was head to head the entire time. And then Baker threw just an inopportune time to decide to throw. I mean, it was a hell of a pick, but it still looked like he forced it in a little bit.
A hell of a pick by a guy who has never had a regular season or playoff interception in the NFL.
3 years.
What a time to get your hands. I was listening.
Yeah.
So I was walking my dog, so I was listening to that last drive on Sirius XM, and I was listening to the Lions play-by-play, and their color man, who I can't remember who it is, but when that interception happened, he just went off, and that's why the color men are the most fun, because it's almost always a former player.
Right.
And I think that the Lions radio color man is a former player. And so, any former Lions player who wasn't playing in 1991 has seen a lot of heartbreak, and he was just losing his mind. It was an Al Michaels "Do you believe in miracles" moment, and like, I felt good for him. You got to feel good for Detroit, and you've got to root for Jared Goff, who just again unloaded by LA, right? Go to the garage sale, and pick up some like old vinyl, a tailor-made 3-wood and Jared Goff, and like, come on home. And Jared Goff is like, not so fast. I also found a Scotty Cameron putter. So like, good garage sale.
No, Goff played great. Again, his whole is he's got to protect the ball. And
but let's be fair. If you're going to talk about Brock Purdy as a system quarterback, like Jared Goff threw for 200 and was it even 70 yards? He threw for a touchdown. I think he
went 30 for 43 for 287 with 2 tutties, no picks.
Okay, so maybe
5 rating.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the last game where he actually didn't put up huge. But like, it's you have got to feel good for Jared Goff. You have to.
Absolutely. And then watching that game, I'm excited. I'm actually, I mean, not to jump too far ahead, but this Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery backfield, this Jahmyr Gibbs is the real deal. And David Montgomery, if he thinks that he's not going to be in for, I know they'll still split time in the back, but Jahmyr Gibbs is shaping up to be the starter out of the backfield next year in Detroit. This dude is electric. 9 carries, 74 yards. 8.2 yards a carry, getting into the end zone, broke a huge run for that score. I mean, you said it before, he's much-watched TV. I'm with you on that. I'll be all over Jahmyr Gibbs next fantasy season trying to get him on my squad.
So for fantasy purposes, I just want to be careful on Jahmyr Gibbs, because you know who Jahmyr Gibbs reminds me a little bit of? Jahmyr Gibbs reminds me of Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce, who had limited touches last year in the Texans backfield, averaged like 6 and change yards per carry as a change of pace back, comes in, leads the backfield this year. They knew it from day one. They game planned against him, and all of a sudden it's not this, being a change of pace back. We see it from Warren in Pittsburgh. It is a different thing being a change of pace back than the bell cow back who's getting 19 to 25 carries per game. Nobody averages 7 yards a carry when they do that. So he's electric. I love him, but like, let's take it easy on Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round next year.
Take it easy.
This was an excellent run. I mean, this was my kind of football game. I love good running backs. I love good receiving running backs. And Rashad White on the other side of the ball is also just so much fun to watch. Love both of them. So I had a lot of fun with this game. Baker threw for almost 350.
Love Baker.
I know we'll have to do a little thing on Baker. That'll be some evergreen content down the road.
I love Baker.
You gotta love Baker's story. Yeah, I mean, he's going home, but again, you were playing with house money. How far did they actually plan to go? They were a hot team that just kind of backdoored their way into the playoffs.
Love it.
If they
And
win this
love,
game, now you're starting to talk about, some Baker magic, maybe. But in the end, the Lions are the better team, and the better team won this game.
quick credit to Bruce Arians, who was like, Baker Mayfield is a starting quarterback. He's not like he's our guy. Like, no one is talking about the Bucs going out and replacing Baker next year. Bruce Arians picked him up and was like, this is our guy. I'm excited about him. And I also think it allows us to talk about future Hall of Famer Mike Evans. Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, first 6 seasons, all over 1,000 yards. Only 2 of those seasons were with Tom Brady. The man's going to have a gold jacket.
Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Oh! He is an underrated receiver. People do not talk about him the way that they talk about the other top flight receivers in this league. Mike Evans is an easy top 10 receiver in this league, and I hope that people recognize that, because he's a stud. So let's talk clock blundering. We're going to call this
Mike Evans. So this, I mean, kind of a minor thing, maybe, depending on how you look at it. But so the Lions were in victory formation, and Goff takes the second down snap or third down snap with 16 seconds left on the play clock. Tampa Bay's got 1 timeout, and the way that the game clock was set, Todd Bowles could have taken a timeout there and left actual game time on the clock, forced Detroit to maybe kick a field goal or punt. But either way, that would have been, I would have loved to have seen it play out. Because if you're Detroit and you're taking your headphones off and you're in victory formation, we got this. And then all of a sudden your QB has a little bit of a mental fart, right? Doesn't let the play clock run down to 0, takes the snap with 16 seconds. So now that timeout actually could come into play. Todd Bowles, afterwards, when asked about it, said, well, then they're going to, I'll do my best Todd Bowles impression. Well, then they're going to kick a field goal, and then the game's over anyway.
Well, so that's, I mean,
man, that defense, I think that's a cop-out. I don't think he realized. I think that he cashed it in and thought that the game was over and didn't realize that Jared Goff made that mistake.
The defense, it's a cop-out. All you needed to do was watch the Bills-Chiefs game to see what happens when all you need to do is kick a field goal. I realize that a 53-yarder in Buffalo is different than what would have been a under 40-yarder in Detroit. But no, Todd Bowles had checked out, right? He had decided that victory formation means victory. That is just in case you needed to remember that Todd Bowles coached the Jets. There is your New York Jets move. They would have kicked the field goal they would have kicked it anyway. Well, or you block it, right? Or like who knows? Maybe they fumble the snap. Maybe who on earth?
Anything.
Who on earth knows?
Never send it in. You can't.
Your job. And so and look, Todd Bowles' job is as safe gets, because he brought the Bucs to this point. But you are an NFL head coach. Clock management before everything else, right? Coordinators can call the plays. You can bring in a mentalist to keep everyone's spirits up, like we see on Hard Knocks, whatever. But if you have one job as an NFL head coach, one job, you are the clock manager. And that is why I think Kyle Shanahan is overrated. And it's why I don't let Todd Bowles off the hook. Was it 99% that game was over? Yeah, but that's
One
what
time.
One time. Yeah. One time.
But we agree the Lions are a great story. We agree that